So today's video is going to be a different type of video. We're not going to talk much about Dominican Republic in this video. I don't think so. I don't think this video has a whole lot to do with Dominican Republic, but it's also still a useful video that I think you guys are going to enjoy. And we're going to talk about more about where did my creative passion or my creative drive, where did that begin, and to a point where it led me to actually being here on YouTube as a creator, and how that creative passion fueled me over all these years to where I still have the desire to create and create and create. So we're gonna talk about this today. And what inspired me to make this video was I was looking through some old comments on my wife's channel, and I read this comment, or came across this comment that this guy put. And so I'm gonna put it here on the screen. Let's take a look at it. So he said, like he was hating when he was just a cameraman. Now he wants some shine. Give the light back to the lady, bruh. You don't even look like you should be in the video. You just keep saying, you know. I actually thought this comment was funny when I first read it. This was months ago, but I actually thought it was funny. Number one reason I thought it was funny is because when I was editing that video, it is true. I kept saying, you know, and I don't know why I said it so many times. Now I say that a lot anyway, but not as much as I had in that video. So I was like, well, you're right about that. So I thought that was funny. And the second reason I thought it was funny, because I know he's broken dumb to type something like that. So he had nothing else to do but to, you know, throw shots at me like that. So, and I'm not making this video to address this person or that comment. I'm making this video because some people really may want to know, where does the creative process come from and where did it start? Because some people, they are either afraid to get in front of the camera or they're afraid to express their creativity. So, and they look at some people who are online on YouTube or, you know, in front on the movie screen or on your television, and they're like, man, how did they do that? When in fact, everybody's story is different. So I just wanted to kind of share my story. So where did this creative passion or drive originate, and when did it start? As far as I can remember, it started when I was a kid, but we're not gonna go back that far. But I could just remember being a kid, being that person in my group of friends that was always the one that was creative. Not that my friends wasn't creative, but I was always like, almost like the nucleus or the center of my friends, and being the one they looked to create the things that we were gonna do that day when we were outside playing. So I would credit that as probably when it started, but when it actually started and I realized it is when I started my record company. So I had an independent record company that I started back in 1998. And I started it in my 1-bedroom apartment. So my mom loaned me some money back then. I don't know how much it was. I don't know if it was $1,000 or $1,200 or something like that. And I bought me a 4-track digital mixer and a microphone and some plugins. And I had the mixer in my living room, and I had the mic running all the way from the living room into the bathroom. On the vent, I had a hanger that I clamped up there, and then I hung the mic over the hanger where it was hanging down. And so, you know, the bathroom, you know, it doesn't have a lot of sound in it because it's, you know, it's closed. It keeps the sound in. So that's why we was recording in the bathroom at the time. So I produced 2 albums in that apartment. And the first one that I produced, it sold like 350 copies. And we were selling them for $7 a pop. And like I say, 350 sold. And then the next one, I sold I think I sold close to 1,000, maybe it was 800 or something like that. We sold it. And so this was between 98 and 2000. So with that money that I earned selling those CDs, I decided in 2000 to buy or rent out a space and build me a studio. And that's exactly what I did. And then the first year of me renting that space, I dropped a project, and that project went on to sell about 5,000 copies. And at this point, we had become, you know how they said, ghetto fabulous, or we was hood famous. People around the city of Huntsville knew who we were, the label, and we started to gain a little traction. So from about 2000 to 2006, maybe almost 2007, is when I had this studio, and I released maybe 2 other projects within between that time, all selling average around 5,000 copies. And so from there, what happened was I was noticing that we couldn't break the mold in terms of in the city, or I felt we couldn't get out of the city and get more recognition and things like that. So what I decided to do was, I remember I was working my full-time job at the time. And I remember at that job, they had this newsletter that my coworker was responsible for creating. And I remember on the way home, I grabbed this newsletter. And as I'm riding home, I'm looking at this newsletter, and it was just like a fold. It was like front cover, inside, back cover. So it was like this. And it was highlighting, you know, employees, departments, and it was just a newsletter about the company. And I thought to myself right then, I said, you know what? I want to do something like this. I'm going to create a magazine. Since I can't get my artists heard, I'm going to create my own magazine, and I'm going to put my artists in the magazine. And guess what? I did just that. I created a magazine. So what I did was, I knew some people was working at the company I was working at, because we manufactured DVDs and CDs and things like that. So we had a graphics department there, people who actually, you know, did graphics. Then we had, of course, we had managers and operation managers and things like that. So I grabbed the graphic artist, I grabbed the operations guy, and who else did I grab? I can't remember. Oh, and I also grabbed an editor, but the editor wasn't from that company. It's a girl that I knew, and grabbed her. And I brought this vision to them and said, hey, this is what I want to do. And they all was like, cool, let's do it. And we did it. So I've always been the type of person who had the ideas, and I always put people around me that could execute those ideas the way I saw it, you know, being executed. And so I've always been that type of person. And this is the cover of that first magazine. And I put myself on it and my friend. And this is when the whole magazine was born. And I remember us and of this particular magazine, we printed up about 500 copies, ended up selling all 500 copies. I would go around the city and I would put them in consignment in the music stores. Back then they had music stores. And by me being from Mobile, I would ship some to my mom. She would put them in the record stores over there on consignment, and that's how we would work it. Believe it or not, this magazine became pretty popular in the South during that time. And I'm not saying it was the Source or the XXL, but we were pretty popular when it came to regional, especially in Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, Mississippi, and South Carolina, and also in Florida. And when I say Florida, I'm not talking Southern Florida. I'm talking more around the Tallahassee, Panama City, Jacksonville area. We were pretty known around that area. And during this time is when I started bumping heads and developing relationship with people in the entertainment industry. And keep in mind, we were publishing this quarterly. There was no way I could have did every month. We just didn't have the capacity to do every month, so we was doing it quarterly. And here's an issue where we had David Banner on the cover, and this is when he first signed his, I think it was a $10 million deal with SRC Universal. Matter of fact, we were the first person to put David Banner on a cover after he signed his deal. We had Chopper on the cover, and this was when Chopper left No Limit. And here's an issue where we had Dirty on the cover. This group is from Montgomery, Alabama, and they had a popular song back then. I can't even remember what it was, but also we had Camouflage on the cover. Camouflage was an artist with Pure Pain Records, And the interview that I conducted was his last interview that he did before he was murdered. I interviewed him. By the time the magazine came out, he was dead. We did a cover with the whole Pure Pain family on one issue. We had Boys in the Hood on the cover, Jody Breeze, Duke, Jeezy. And when I say that the magazine was pretty popular, if you know anything about the coalition of independent magazines, as you can see, my magazine is right here with the red circle around it. You had the Feds in it, the Streets, Don Diva, Industry, Ozone. Ozone was really big in Florida, Murder Dog. So all these were independent magazines, and my magazine was in that coalition. You couldn't have a pamphlet to be in this coalition. You had to have quality product, and we were in there. So I'm gonna show you a couple of pictures just to kind of show you the impact that the magazine had. We got Bobby Valentino holding it. We got Marcus Houston. We got Life Jennings holding it. Magic and Roy Jones Jr. We got Yin Yang Twins, Killer Mike, Gucci Mane right here, Young Jeezy, Skinny Pimp right here holding it. If you're from Memphis, you guys know who Skinny Pimp is. Now, those are some of the people that I encountered while I had the magazine. I was all over the South at the time. I was running around to these different events, you know, passing out magazines, just trying to get our product out there. And so I'm also show you real quick some of the people that I actually interviewed for the magazine. People like Crime Mob, Soulja Slim. I interviewed Magic from No Limit, Lil Scrappy, Trillville, Akon. Man, I got an Akon story to tell you. I'll probably tell it another time because it'll make this video too long. Fiend from No Limit, Granddaddy South, of course. If you from Orlando area, you guys know about Granddaddy South. That was my guy, man. Me and Granddaddy South had a lot of, every time we talked, we had a good time. And right here we have David Banner. David was so cool. Me and him hung out a few times before he actually just kind of just blew up. And I had to tell that story one day too, man. That guy's wild. BG, Zero from Houston. And here in this picture, I'm with DJ B-Lord from South Carolina. B-Lord was one of the hottest DJs in South Carolina, especially back then. Right here, Blood Raw. Guys, you know Blood Raw. He used to be signed with Jeezy's label, CTE. He's from Panama. And then back here with DJ Drama. Everybody ought to know DJ Drama. He the one put out Jeezy's Streets is Watching mixtapes and all those type of things. So you know DJ Drama. And I forgot this other guy's name. It's on the top of my tongue, but I think he was a DJ from Orlando too. And that's me, you know what I'm saying? Just, you know, I'm always around the women, bro. Bubba Sparks, Field Mob. We were in the studio in, at V103 with Greg Street. So you see Greg Street, Field Mob, we in there with them. I'm at the concert with Yo Gotti, BG. Here's my photo with Roy Jones. I was down at his mansion in Pensacola. They invited me out for a press junket there, man. That's another story to tell. And here I'm pictured with Wendy Day. Anybody know Wendy Day? She has been said to help Cash Money and No Limit structure their deals with Universal and Priority. That's Wendy Day. Very, very known in the music industry, especially back then. That's me with my editor. We was at some event. I don't know where we were, but we had our magazines laid out. Well, at least I know I was there with David Banner. That's my guy, David Banner. So guys, those are some of the things that were happening during the time I had my magazine. I think I had the magazine maybe between 2001 all the way to 2000 and maybe 7 or 8, I don't know. I don't think it was in 2008 because that was around the time I met the Bears, and I don't think I had the magazine at that time. I don't think I was doing a magazine at the time. Between that time, we sold tens and tens of thousands of magazines. And back then, magazines were, you know, I think we were selling them for like $3 or something like that. And then if they was on consignment, you know, the store gets like $1 and then we get $2 off of it. I don't know if we selling for $3.50 or $3, I can't remember. But we sold tens of thousands of those copies of those magazines. So what happened to the magazine? Well, what happened to the magazine, and this is not gonna surprise anybody. You know what happened to the magazine? The damn internet came along. That's what happened to the magazine. And while I say that is because things had started to transition online. And back then, nobody knew what the internet was gonna do. So by me having a magazine that was released quarterly, and then you got this thing called the internet, there's no way in hell I'm gonna be able to produce content. By the time my content gets out, everybody's gonna be heard exactly what's happening. I'm old news at that point, so I didn't know how to transition. I'm gonna be honest with you. I did not know how to transition from paper magazine to online. I remember them saying, "Hey, get a website." I remember getting a website, looking at it like it was Christmas lights. I had no idea how to transfer online. Transfer my business online, and then it just died out. And so that's what happened to the magazine. And look where we are now, the internet age. Everybody is online now. So from there, I ended up back into the music business, but not as an artist or a producer. So if you remember when I talked about the interview that I did with Camouflage, the artist in Savannah, Georgia, and that was his last interview, the CEO of the label, he and I had become really close just off of that. So he and I would still be in contact every now and then, giving each other updates and stuff. And I remember one day he called me. He said, "Man, everywhere I go, I see your magazine." He said, "I was in New York last week. I was in the Def Jam office and I seen your magazine." He said, "I was in Miami and I forgot what's the radio station down in Miami." He said, "I was in there and I seen your magazine." He said, "I was in Atlanta and Greg Street had your magazine." He said, "Man, you out here doing it." I said, "Man, I'm trying to do something," you know what I'm saying? He said, "Are you still doing a magazine?" I was like, "Nah, I ain't really doing a magazine no more." And I kind of told him what happened. He said, "So what you doing now?" I said, "Man, nothing really, man, just trying to find something else to get into." He said, "Well, I want you to come and be a part of what we're doing over here at Pure Pain. And once we get everything rolling." I said, "Cool, that's fine." So long story short, around 2011, I was named vice president of Pure Pain Records. And so I started, directing videos. I was helping handling the marketing. I was in the studio overseeing recordings and things of that nature. And I'm gonna put some stuff up here so you guys can see, because I know they said, "Man, that guy lying, man." I'm gonna put some stuff up here and I'm gonna let you guys see. Here's me in the studio in Atlanta. I forgot the name of that famous studio, but here's me in the studio with Rome.
Rome Bad Daddy video shoot, 38 and Party. Can do a performance scene right here, Rome Bad Daddy, County Mob, all the way from the M-Town to the SAV. Pure Pain or Nothing, PPON. Over here on 38 and Horn Street, we got Rome Bad Daddy video shoot, do that. This scene right here, we're gonna have Rome pull up. We're gonna park the car right here. We're gonna have some partners up in the alleyway in the cut. He's gonna get out the car, walk over there, holler at his partners as he's looking for his target. Then we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
Huh?
Scene 6 in the body shop. Bad Daddy gonna do his solo scene up in here. We want that grimy look to this one right here, so we're gonna do it right up here. We thought this was a good look, and also this one nice. This one like a landmark in Savannah. So this one Pure Pain Records, Rome Bad Daddy, Free Big Dog. I'm telling you, that's my brother, my partner, my friend. I love you, boy. You know what I'm saying? Can't wait to see you, man. PPON, Pure Pain or Nothing for me. Peace.
And those are some shots where I was actually directing the video shoot for the artist. And here are some shots where I was actually in some of the videos just as not as an artist, but just in the video. So I'm gonna let you guys check this out. And in that one there, I was playing the police, and I did not want to play the police, man. Where I'm from, we don't do no police, man. And what happened was the person that was supposed to play the police was not there. He didn't show up. So I remember I had to run and buy a shirt from Walmart and some pants. I didn't even wear that there. And so I can kind of look like a detective. So, and I don't know where I got the gun from. Somebody, you know, in the hood, man, everybody got a gun. So somebody gave me that gun and I just put it on. So I played the police in that particular video. Here's another one that I'm in.
One P for pure, another P for pain. It's pure pain for life, and that'll never change. This all I know, 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 this all I know. P90 tucked in my jeans, and I done popped 2 beans. Got that margarita flavor lean, having a threesome with this codeine.
So that one there, I was just vibing to the beat. The CEO wanted me in that particular video. I didn't even know I was gonna be in there. I think he just kind of wanted to like people to see my face, a part of the team or whatever at that point. Cause like I said, I had just started kind of like rolling with them as a team. And I guess he kind of just wanted to kind of put my face out there. And that time period was between 2011 and 2015, because that's when we moved over here in 2015. Then we moved back in 2016. Came over here in 2018, met with Taylor Made Dreams, came back to Florida, looked the bears in the eye and said, hey, I got a vision and you're gonna be the star of this vision. And guess what? She delivered. And you guys know the story from there on out. And that's where my creative passion and drive started, when I decided to start my record company in my apartment back in 1998. So when I see comments like this, where people try to insinuate that I guess I was jealous because my wife had some shine, when I was the one who encouraged her to do it, knowing that she would get the shine, it's laughable to me. Not only that, while she was entertaining you guys about Dominican Republic, I was on my other channel running up the numbers and was shining on my cooking channel and still shining at 255,000 subs. If you paid attention to anything I just said from the start of this video, you would already know I've been shining. So until then, remember, always keep your goals at the forefront of your mind. Always live in the present, because that's the only way you're gonna live your best life. And I'm out. Peace.
Je begon aan mijn best life, yeah. Je begon aan mijn best life, yeah. Something you and me, oh. Je begon aan mijn best life, yeah. Jumping, flexing, no, no.